we can only make your life easier if we know what makes it hard.
Yeah.
And to do that,
You're
said it best.
You're like a therapist.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You're like an inventory therapist. Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I'm your host, Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ Media production coming to you from the Create Conference in Nashville, Tennessee for emerging restaurants. I have Luis and Adarsh, Pathway co-founders. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Sean.
I'm really excited to have you guys on the show. I can't wait to share your story with our audience. So let's share this origin story. What was the idea? Why restaurant tech?
Well, we were already in the space. I was at DoorDash for many years. Adarsh over here was one of the leads on the applied AI team at Uber. And, he heard me talking about my experience at an event we were at, came up to me and said, we got to talk.
Yeah. And we've been in e-commerce, all of these physical industries for long enough where I think we thrive in this intersection of tech and physical space. And Luis used to work at Instacart before DoorDash, which is what he didn't tell you. And I used to work at a company called Flipkart. And then it was like, wait, we need to talk because I've been working on AI agents at Uber. And AI agents can do a lot of stuff much smarter than humans. Restaurant has a lot of data. Restaurant data is very fragmented. Can we do something here? And that's how it started.
And in particular, the more we kept talking, we started to realize that for the first time in, we'd call it 70 years, really since the 50s with the QSR revolution and what McDonald's did back then, there is an opportunity right now with AI to fundamentally change the way that restaurants do business and run their business functions and change their operations for the better. And in particular, the thing that got us excited was not AI for the sake of AI, but AI in service of getting restaurant owners, management, staff to be able to spend more time on the more human aspect of hospitality, the service, the product, everything like that. Because for the first time, you can build software that isn't a tool, but is rather, it's self-driving. It can take care of itself. It can be proactive. It can actually start to deliver outcomes as opposed to simply what we call, a tool that needs to be used. You need to use your mental bandwidth and your time and your effort to get things done. That is just no longer going to be required moving forward. So we saw that a lot of people are, trying to help restaurants, but in particular, what we see is you have to rethink the operation, especially on the business side from the ground up, thinking through the capabilities of AI to really get to the full potential that this technology can bring.
What is Pathway and what are you guys doing currently with your customers?
Sure. So Pathway is, we're building an AI restaurant manager that has visibility into every aspect of the restaurant. And the goal is to be able to look at things and identify things that it's very hard for a normal human to do and connect different pieces of data. What we're doing today is helping restaurants do better procurement. So what that essentially means is we look at your sales, we look at your recipes, we look at your invoices, and then we work backwards from there to figure out what you should be purchasing from the distributor today. In the service of helping you save time, we don't have to think about what to order, making sure you don't over order or making sure you don't under order. And the goal is we want every decision that happens in a restaurant to be driven by data. And for the first time, that's possible without you having to click through multiple dashboards or downloading Excel sheets and doing the analysis yourself.
It's amazing. What did you say? And which conference was this at where he came up to you?
Oh, so we were in San Francisco at a, technology founders conference. Really more a fellowship more than a conference. This was like the introductory day. And they had you put together a slide presentation on your background and, throw everything on there that makes you you. And, for me, it was, hey, I'm from Ecuador. I love food. I love my family. I love my wife. This is my background. These are the things that I care about. And, Adarsh looked pretty similar, to be honest with you. And so It made sense for us to chat.
So there's a video that you guys posted on your YouTube channel. It's one of my favorite tech videos, restaurant tech videos that I've ever seen. I encouraged you to make it public and not private.
That's right.
Can you share the story behind the video?
Absolutely. There's a funny story behind that. So essentially we were actually looking to hire engineers.
Yeah.
And then what we found happening, what we found happening was we had to explain the same thing every single time when we spoke to someone for the first time. So we're like, hey, why don't we make this secret video, which we'll send out to engineers once we like them.
Yeah.
And so we shot the secret video, and we remember you asked us what platform is this? We're like, it's Loom. It's
You need a password to get it.
Password protected video.
And essentially it was us trying to lay out our hypothesis of how the world is going to work in the future and why we're doing what we're doing and the grand plan. And a very big inspiration for this was, I'm not sure if you know, so Tesla, they have their master plan. It's public. It's like we build supercars first, and then we build consumer cars and make it cheap, and then we build cheaper cars. So we're like, wouldn't it be simple if we just put our master plan out there, and then people who resonated with this can come and work with us?
Yeah.
So that was the
And we purposefully made it honestly as low budget and grainy as possible for a very particular reason, which is, you know this and the audience knows this, the restaurant industry is not glamorous, and you need to be able to deal with the problems of the real world if you want to come and make a real impact. And in particular, if you're an engineer, someone who's used to problems with bits and not with atoms, then you're used to problems being very clean, very well scoped. You know, you move some numbers around and that's your job. What we need is actually people who want to go a step beyond that and have an effect on the real world and what we'll call, the real economy. And so we wanted for those engineers to self-select towards the ones that get excited by us, drawing out a crude diagram on a whiteboard and explaining, hey, here's why this is worth doing.
Here's a funny story. So this is not just us talking. So next week, we're going down to New York. We're meeting someone who we like, an engineer. This is the final round. The final round is we're going to go to a restaurant to have like lunch or dinner, and we're going to ask him to do something there. We're going to ask him to find out how they do their procurement. So that's the final round.
Wow. Is it going to be at lunch or is it going to be at dinner?
We're still figuring out when we can meet him.
We thought about doing beer, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, alcohol and food, So you need to be able to go up to a restaurant owner and talk to them and figure stuff out, because frankly, it's not
he or she get to pick the restaurant?
We're picking it.
Yeah. There's actually,
I would be, I know I could do it, but like that, I like the idea. It's a very interesting challenge.
We're actually, one other thing we're considering for that is we have a potential customer we're talking to up there. They have a big commissary out in Brooklyn.
Yep.
And so we might also just bring him along there beforehand, just to see how he engages in that environment, to see whether he can try and understand, okay, how do these physical processes get manifested into the sort of data that we're going to have to be looking at to see if they really have an eye for that. And, ultimately, this space is not for everybody, right? That's true of restaurants and that's true of restaurant tech. We are restaurant tech people. And that means that you need to be able to hold two things in your mind at once. One is problems are solvable with software. But the second thing is those problems are only solvable if you understand the real world.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things for me is, in the restaurant tech space, a lot of tech founders feel like imposters because they didn't grow up in the restaurant or they didn't work in the restaurant. And I always push back on that, saying like, listen, I know a lot of restaurant owners. I am a restaurant owner. I want you to be you. I want you. That's actually your strength, is that you didn't and you see the problem differently. So I'm in the weeds. You're outside in the forest. You can see the entire picture. But like, you have to be willing to get in the weeds with me.
That's right.
Like, and when you're willing to get in the weeds, and the engineers are willing to get in the weeds, and the salespeople and the executives, when all of them understand what it's like to be in the front of the house, to be in the back of the house, to be in the corporate office, like once you understand that, then you can build something really cool and really powerful.
Yeah. And frankly, for me, for both of us actually, is being in the weeds. This other day, we were in a customer's kitchen. They were walking us through their procurement process, and I had this like moment. I was like, wait, holy shit! I'm in the kitchen, the place I love the most, and this is my job.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of fucking fantastic, one of the reasons I love that video so much is you talk about recruiting sickos and you cuss.
Yeah.
Tell me about the process of publishing that publicly.
To be very honest with you, the process, I kid you not, the process was actually very simple. When you told us on that call,
Yeah.
I immediately went to YouTube while we were on
Yes.
that call, and I was like, I published the
I
video.
love it.
And then by the time the call ended, the video was public.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So
But
that's
that's speed.
Yeah.
And I think that's the competitive advantage when you're a startup restaurant tech company, you're working in this space, you want to make a name for yourself. You want to prove to the partners and
Yeah.
the customers that you have that you're willing to do anything to make this thing work. Those kinds of actions are going to build momentum. They will compound.
100%. I mean, we've got several of our partners that were here at the Create conference, and you got that 0 to 1 problem at first, which
Yep.
is like, you've never done this thing. This thing has never existed. Why should I trust you? And a big part of it has been like, hey, we will take care of everything. We will make this risk-free for you. And when we say take care of everything, that means showing up, counting boxes
Yep.
in the walk-in so your team doesn't have to. And then we figure out, okay, how do we make this scalable? How do we automate this? But something we like to say to, especially, the staff when we're in the store, not just to restaurant owners when we're talking to them about our solution, is we can only make your life easier if we know what makes it hard.
Yeah.
And to do that, you said it best.
You're like a therapist.
Yeah, yeah.
honestly.
You're like an
Yeah.
like an inventory therapist.
So in our onboarding process,
Show me what you hide and I can show you where you save money.
Exactly. In our onboarding process, this is literally one of the steps.
Yeah.
So one of the steps is to go into the restaurant, look at every nook and cranny, and understand what's happening.
Yep.
That's exactly right. And we're excited to have started with procurement
Yep.
because the way we think about product development is pretty straightforward. We talk to our customers, understand what their biggest problems are, and we go from there, as opposed to imagining up a problem that we think is real and then going and testing it. And what that's led to is, this full-fledged procurement solution that we have in the market, but also the next thing that's coming down the line is our AI. Its name is Patty, Pathway Patty. And our first customer was actually a burger place, so we had some fun with that
Nice.
one, making
Awesome.
it Patty. Because what we realized is as we were solving this procurement problem, we started to get information from across the business, and we can start to see things that a human never could. One example that we talk about is, let's say that you open at 8 a.m. and your 8 to 9 a.m. hour. Okay, maybe your sales during that time. You know how much you're spending on labor. Maybe a good operator knows that. So okay, this is how much came in. This is how much I
Yep.
spent. But what you don't know is your product mix during that time profitable?
Yeah.
Are the items that you're selling during that hour actually producing profit dollars? Because even if it's a good sales hour, that doesn't mean it's a good profit hour.
100%.
And at least the operators that we work with don't have the time to go find, to use Adarsh's words, every nook and cranny and opportunity. And that's what Patty is now able to do.
So if somebody's watching this, listening to this, and they own restaurants, what's the best next step for them to engage with Pathway?
Please go to workwithpathway.com. We would love to chat with you. You can get time with us directly on there. And what we'll do is make sure that we understand your concept deeply, understand what you're trying to do. The way we talk about ourselves we are an AI growth partner, because ultimately that's what every successful restaurateur wants to do is
Yep.
grow their vision, grow their concept, do so without losing their margins or their mind. And that's where we come in.
Yeah, and also we think what really makes us different is we don't. If the restaurant asks us for something and it's slightly outside of what we do, we don't like raise our hands and we don't say, oh, we don't do that. We, even if it's like something manual, even if it's advice on something very simple, we try and go out of our way to do that. And frankly, at this scale, we can, and we want to make most of that opportunity. And as much as possible, we want to keep doing this. But all these companies at scale, they don't feel human because you're interacting with like layers and layers and layers of people. With us, it's basically the founders of the company just at your service all the time. So at this stage, it's like a gift for both us and the restaurants, and that's something that we're excited to make use of.
And something we've told you is, we see ourselves as being in this for the next 10, 20 years. If that's the case, then the deeper we go now, the more we'll be able to do over time. And so we see that as an opportunity. And just in general, you have to take advantage of each stage of the company, right? And right now we can do things that we're not going to be able to do down the line. And so we have to do it as much as possible.
Yeah, I think if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, one of the things that excites me the most is access. It's very rare when technology develops that you get access to the jockeys at this stage. So if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, please reach out to these guys. They know what they're doing. They know what they're building. They're not afraid to make mistakes. They're not afraid to work with you, get their hands dirty. It's been an honor just spending time with you guys. I can't wait to continue to build in public, share what you guys are building. Really excited for what you guys are doing.
What I can promise you is next time you have us on, we will have solved a lot more problems for our customers.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Well, we can't wait to have your first customer on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As always, we appreciate you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Please check out Pathway. Reach out to them. We'll put links into the show note. As always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And check out Create next year. I think they're coming to Southern California. Thank you to Informa for letting us share the stage.
And thanks to Cali Barbecue Media for having us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you've made it this long, you are part of the community. You're part of the tribe. We can't do this alone. We started, no one was listening. Now we have a community of digital hospitality leaders all over the globe. Please check out our new series called Restaurant Technology Substack. It's a Substack newsletter. It's free. It's some of our deep work on the best technology for restaurants. Also, go to YouTube and subscribe to Cali Barbecue Media. Cali BBQ Media on YouTube. We've been putting out a lot of new original content. Hopefully you guys like that content. If you want to work with us, go to betheshow.media. We show up all over the United States, some international countries. We would love to work with you and your growing brand on digital storytelling. You can reach out to me anytime at Sean P. Walchef on Instagram. I'm weirdly available. Stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you next episode.